Drivers, start your engine!
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
One last chance down the back straightaway into corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. Looking to drag race back to the start finish line, but no one will catch him as the 77 of Dalton Wicker will pick up the checkered flag.
This is the Hypershift Racing League on Peacemaker Gaming.
Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake.
gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready for another night of amazing racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming as the Hypershift Racing League gets ready to battle here from Charlotte Motor Speedway in the IMB Racewear NASCAR Series as each and every driver looking to try to cash in and put themselves into victory lane here this evening for what will be a very exciting afternoon of racing action. Going to be a lot of fun, going to be some great battles here, and these drivers are going to put on an absolute amazing show for us here this evening as you do see the top tattoo number 15 ride of Brian King getting his final lap in right there. It looks like he found a little extra speed, but not enough to jump any farther forward. Currently qualified in that 10th position, but John Osborne here with the quick time, but we will see Matt Sisler in that beautiful Rowdy Forever 3 birdies, number 31, up and into position number 3 here in his qualifying effort. So a great run right there for Sisler, moves him up and into 3rd here as we do see Dwayne Furtick, his teammate, jumping up into position number 12. As the HendrickCars.com number 51 ride, he'll jump into that 12th position and hoping to find a little extra speed out there, trying to put himself into a little bit better of a spot and hoping to try to keep on moving this thing forward here as this car is always looking fresh, always looking beautiful out there on the speedway as he rips it off the racetrack here. I believe only one driver, Dylan Huso, left to get a qualifying lap in, so he may be starting at the rear of the field here this evening as we get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to roll as our main feature event is about to get underway. Everything is about to get that much more exciting, a lot more thrilling here as these drivers get locked and loaded and ready to try to find their way up and into victory lane here at Charlotte as everyone's going to get lined up here on the front straightaway. We'll go through our starting grid. Actually, it looks like they're starting down pit side here in this one, so everyone's going to line up down pit side as John Osborne. We're waiting for Osborne to join the front of the field here in the number 11 ride. We do see the outside the front row sitter here. It is that beautiful Gary Sinise Foundation number 77 machine of Dalton Wicker there. The Tiny Toes ride, always looking fresh, always looking good, and having that Gary Sinise Foundation on board with that car here this evening. We do see our 3rd place driver. There's that Rowdy Forever number 31, the 3 birdies machine of Matt Sisler, who will start there in 3rd. Kyle Tabb there to his outside in the JuicySpydr number 41 ride, going to start there in that 4th position. Starting back in 5th will be the DHL Express number 8 ride of Kent Mueller. To his outside will be the 18 of Michael Carter. Then we do see Adam Bounton in his beautiful Bounton Enterprises number 94 ride there in 7th. Corey Denk in his Gary Sinise Foundation number 17 ride there in that 8th position. Back in the 9th spot on the Speedway will be that number 36. That is Gage Wenzel as Tom Stacy Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36 into his outside. Rounding out our top 10 will be the Robin Hood number 95 ride of Anthony Ludi. Starting back in the 11th position is the top tattoo number 15 of Brian King. To his outside in the HendrickCars.com number 51, it's Dwayne Furtick starting there in 12th. Starting back in position at number 13 is the 24 ride of Jack Simpson. To his outside of the stance built number 56 is Richard Wolsifer starting there in 14th here on the Speedway. Trevor Massetti will start in 15th with Max Cost to his outside there in that 16th position. Then we do see Doug Denise in the Sirius XM number 40, the number 19 ride. That is Connor Fuge. Fuge will start there in that 18th spot here on the racetrack, and then we will see, I do believe it is the number 34 ride of Drew King. Drew King will start in 19th. Tommy Pulte in the 26 will start to his outside. Jaden Newson in the 78 will start there in 22nd. He'll have the number 39 technically to his inside of
Dallas Humans. And then we will see Cedric Ingram in the 32, and the 9 ride of Jeff Carson bringing up the rear of our 24-car field. And Dylan Huso, unfortunately, looks like he had loaded in. He had joined us, but did not get a qualifying attempt in and has not started this A main feature event here this evening. He'll have to start from pit road here and hopefully not going too far down and behind early on here this evening, or else his chance of winning this race may be out the window before he even takes a lap, as the G-Shock number 11 of John Osborne will lead us to the green flag here this evening as we and all of the anticipation with our feature presentation, and we already have one driver around and down through the infield grass. It's the 19 ride. Connor Fuge, let's throw it back in reverse here after a lap, but out in front, it is the 77 of Dalton Wicker, who's able to jump to the race lead. So using that outside lane, able to get the power down. Dalton Wicker will hold on to the top spot. Matt Sisler trying to work his way up and into second, and you can already see maybe a little tire strategy out of the 11 right of John Osborne. Allow these guys to go early on, let them maybe burn their stuff up a little bit, and allowing him to kind of get rolling here a little later in this run, as we could see a lot of green flag laps being laid down here at Charlotte this afternoon. As let's take a look back, see what happened here to Connor Fuge out of the get-go. As Fuge back deeper in the field here, started back in roughly about the 14th position, 16th position here, and it just looks like getting going through the gears. Looks like he's going to get some tire spin in. Unfortunately, just spins the tires, loops the car around, gets down into the infield grass right there. No caution flag. We keep it clean and green. Unfortunately for Fuge, he goes from a fairly decent starting spot to now being back in 24th and already about 11 seconds from the tail end of the field here. So he's already about half a lap down out there on the racetrack, and if it stays clean and green for an extended period of time, he could be looking to potentially fall a lap down here fairly early in this race, and that is not a fun spot to be. That is not a spot you want to be out there on the speedway. And if we are experiencing a little bit of frame loss, so if you guys do experience a little bit of lagginess here and there, don't mind that. Obviously, that's just the internet doing its thing and not wanting to cooperate fully here this evening. I see every once in a while it's absolutely fine, and then it'll skip frames for a couple seconds, and then it'll go back good again. So hopefully it's fairly minimal here this evening. But for Dalton Wicker, Matt Sisler, they run 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack. Kyle Tab up and into position number 3 here on the speedway. John Osborne, our pole sitter, has fallen right back to 4th here, but here he comes looking underneath that 41 ride for position number 3 here on the speedway. And moving up through the field quickly here is that 24 Jack Simpson. Simpson started back in 13th, already up 8 positions inside our top 5 in the 24 ride. Looking to keep on trying to inch his way towards the front of the field. Seems like this 24 definitely has some good fire off speed. We'll have to wait and see if the car can hold up here for the longer run. Maybe see if it can have the tires underneath of it here for a 40-45 lap run out there on the speedway. Michael Carter there in 6th. Gage Wenzel up a couple spots early on. They're in 7th. Kent Mueller, Dwayne Furtick, and Corey Denk rounding out our top 10 here on the speedway. As Adam Bounton down 4 positions, rolls there in the 11th spot on the speedway. Richard Wolsifer, Brian King, Trevor Massetti, Tommy Pulte, our top 15 out there on the racetrack, as Jaden Newson has worked that beautiful 78 ride up and into the 16th position on the speedways. That Can Racing ride rolls there in that 16th spot on the speedway, trying to work his way inside the top 15 early on here this evening. Drew King, Anthony Ludi. Ludi has unfortunately fallen back 8 positions. Started in 10th, now finds himself back here in 18th. Dallas Humans and Cedric Ingram right there on his back bumper. Max Goss back in 21st with Doug Denise, Jeff Carson, Connor Fuge rounding out the field there is Fuge. He has made some ground on Carson and Doug Denise. He is reeling in the tail end of the field, but unfortunately he has lost about another second talking to our race leaders, even though they've been battling here. We saw Matt Sisler up there trying to make the move on the outside, trying to work his way around Dalton Wicker. Unfortunately, he's lost that second spot. He's at risk of losing that third position to his Allegiant Racing teammate here as the 11 of John Osborne works to his inside. But the battle out in front is just starting to heat up as Kyle Tabb wants that top spot. He wants the race lead, and down and out of 4. Great run there for him. He will take the top spot, and it's Kyle Tabb out in front, leading the charge now in that JuicySpydr number 41 ride. So Tabb moving forward, inching his way towards the front of the field here this evening. Great runs, great drives here for that number 41 machine, man. He's looking solid here early on this evening, looking very, very good, looking pretty sturdy out there on the speedway, and hoping to continue on that route, hoping to continue to just lay down great laps, good runs here, and hoping to try to keep all these other drivers back there at bay. But for Kyle Tabb, Dalton Wicker, Matt Sisler, 1, 2, and 3 out there on the racetrack. Osborne stays there in position number 4. Jack Simpson still in that 5th position, but you do see the discount tire number 18 of Michael Carter and Gage Wenzel starting to reel him in here. So for Wenzel, is he trying to work his way towards the top 5 now? He's starting to make some moves. Can he find his way around Michael Carter, go after his teammate Jack Simpson for that 5th spot on the speedway? Dwayne Furtick up 4 spots early on, as well as we do see the caution flag come out. Yellow flag is out as it looks like Trevor Massetti running into some issues here. The 88 ride gonna go for loop-de-loop or 2 here. Let's take a look and see what happens. Looks like a little off-track excursion. Looks like maybe a little contact here between him and the 34 rider, Drew King. There it is, contact. And unfortunately for the 88, gets turned around, goes for a couple loop-de-loops, and as that rear end kicks back out onto the racing surface, that's where the caution flag flies. See him parked there on the racing surface. Luckily enough, no one else got a piece of it. No one else got tore up in it. So that's a great break there for, obviously, Massetti, and for the 34 rider, Drew King, and for really the rest of this pack back there deeper in the field, because there was a few drivers that were real close. Let's see if we can take this back just a little bit. Just door-to-door racing, and it just looks like down through the tri-oval, you're going to see the 88 kind of come down. The 34 kind of holds a little bit more of that middle groove, not really holding the inside lane there through the quad oval, and unfortunately just making contact there with that left rear. That's all it takes, that little slight contact, enough to spin the 88 right around and send him for a ride out there on the speedway. And unfortunately right back up onto the racing surface and bringing out our first yellow flag of the day. And now it's decision time here. What do you do? Do you come down pit road? Do you get fuel? Do you get tires? What is the game plan here? You've only ran about 11 to 12 laps here on this green flag run, so you haven't really ran too far. You haven't laid down too many laps. Do you kind of stick with it here? Maybe just get fuel only. Try to save a set of tires for later in this race. You do see Matt Sisler. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the 77 ride at Dalton Wicker. Slow down pit side, but he's going to fall behind. The 31 ride just head into his box right there. Not sure what the strategy was right there. Maybe he just has the wrong number, but we do see Kent Mueller going to be the first driver off of pit road. So Mueller with a good run down pit side. You're going to see a lot of drivers here, I think, just go fuel only. But if you take a look at our race leaders as they're down pit road, you do see tires going on all 4 of our front 4 right here. I do believe you're going to see each and every one of them get jacked up. There's the 41, the 31, the 77. They get right side tires. There's John Osborne, who missed his stall, had to back it up right there. That'll cost him a few positions, but you see 4 tires going on these drivers here at the front of the field, and unfortunately for those front runners, that's going to set them quite a bit behind here. And you do see Dalton Wicker, man. I don't know what was going on with Wicker down pit road, but he's still down pit side here. So Wicker goes from battling for the race lead to spending an extended period of time down pit road, and now finding himself coming out of the pits back in the 24th position. So he's going to have to make up a lot of ground. But we do see Kent Mueller. Now, Mueller did come out of the pits first, but it looks like he's going to come back down pit side here. So Kent Mueller will make an additional pit stop. May have missed his stall. And now making another trip down pit road, so isn't Jeff Carson and Trevor Massetti in that 88 ride. But that's going to move Richard Wolsifer to the race lead. So Richard Wolsifer out in front now leads the charge here. Tommy Pulte in position number 2. Older tires here, rolling there in that first and second position for Kyle Tam, Michael Carter, Gage Wetzel, Dwayne Furtick, John Osborne, who's back in 7th, Matt Sisler, who's now scored in 8th with Corey Denk and Jack Simpson rounding out our top 10. Ready to rock and roll, man. Fresh tires versus older tires, and that's where things can get really, really interesting in a quick hurry out there on the Speedway. Things can get a little bit wild out there on the racetrack, and for each and every one of these drivers, you got to be on your tippy toes here. You got to be on your tippy toes. You got to be ready for whatever comes your way, whatever may come up, and try to put yourself into what could be, the right move at the right time to try to snag, the race lead, some good clean air, get a good run under your belt, and try to click some of these laps off here this evening as we'll see what kind of carnage, because we've seen issues. We saw Connor Fuge in the first initial start of this race run into tire spin. That could happen again, and luckily enough for Fuge, did not collect anybody, did not get tore up or cause a big wreck there, taking that initial green flag. But any one of these drivers, especially the cast towards the front on the older tires, could definitely experience some of that tire spin. As here we go down through the Echo Park restart zone, and there it is. They're stacking up. Look out, couple drivers tied up, and there's the caution flag. Oh no, one of those being I think Dalton Wicker did get checked up in time, but Dwayne Furtick ends up with a lot of damage in it. The 51 ride tore up, so isn't Michael Carter, and it's all the 26 here at Tommy Pulte. Pulte on the restart here. This is what we talked about, that tire spin with the older tires here at Charlotte, and you're going to see a lot of tire spin right here as the race leader, the 56 of Wolsifer, able to get a good launch, but you see the tire spin out of the 26 ride, tries to collect it, tries to get it pointed in the right direction. Unfortunately, it hooks up towards the outside fence. Carter drives right through his back bumper, and as he's checked up, the 51 of Furtick drives through his back bumper, and they both wash down the racetrack and down through the infield here and into pit lane. And unfortunately for both Dwayne Furtick and for Michael Carter, pretty solid licks for both drivers right there. Pretty solid contact, pretty solid hits for both of them, and that's going to obviously sit them both back out of the top 10 now and at the rear of the field for Tommy Pulte. Obviously on that tire strategy there, trying to save an extra set, now has some pretty solid right front damage and some pretty solid rear end damage as well that he's going to have to try to get fixed up and try to get that Rowdy Forever number 26 ride hooked up, fixed up, and back into one good piece as a snow belt and Industries number 26 ride. Definitely gonna need a little service down pit side this time. And now we do see a few more drivers electing to use pit road here, looking to try to either add more fuel or maybe try to make a little bit more of a gamble here, as you do see the 17 of Corey Dank, Max Cost down pit side as well there. Adam Boughton, Anthony Ludy's down pit side. There's Doug Denise, Kent Mueller, Trevor Massetti, Dalton Wicker's back down pit road here in the 77 ride. Jeff Carson, there's Dwayne Furtick. He'll hit pit road, so will Michael Carter. As a lot of these drivers, man, as you do see Tommy Pulte's down there, same with Drew King. They were trying to get their cars fixed up back into one good piece, but that's going to really make things a little bit more interesting. Now, obviously, they haven't really burned up much fuel or tire there, so there's no advantage really tire-wise, but maybe fuel, just those few laps of caution, that little bit of an instance when you're getting back onto the loud pedal there for that restart. Obviously, you were carrying a lot of speed down into corner number 1 and in through corner number 2. Just being on that throttle enough, man, that could be that, quarter of a gallon. That could be that difference maker. That could be a lap or two out there on the racetrack that you may be able to get the advantage to throughout a green flag run. And if we stack some green flag runs together, it could help you hit your number of potentially trying to make it one less pit stop out there on the racetrack, where the rest of these drivers may have to make that late race stop here today. So we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out for these other drivers. But for right now, Richard Wolsifer out in front has this race lead. The Stance Built 56 will get ready to roll. He'll get ready to rumble from that first starting spot and hoping to try to keep all these drivers back there at bay. Hoping to try to keep, obviously, the 41, that 36 ride, Jack Simpson, all these other drivers in his rearview mirror here on this restart, hoping that he can get another good, clean restart like he did there on the last one, man. He got a great launch and a good jump right there. That's exactly what he needs again. Obviously needs it to go clean and green, but that could be the advantage he needs with the clean air and you know, not really necessarily super old tires compared to the rest of these drivers, but it could be enough to just kind of, you know, make things difficult, make passes difficult, hold these guys up as much as possible, and potentially try to save an extra set of tires for late in this race. So we'll have to wait and see what the game plan is for that number 56 ride as we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, ready to duke it out here again this evening as each and every one of these drivers hoping to try to find their way into victory lane here in this one for what should be another great run, some more great racing action, and should be some really interesting battles out there on the Speedway as we could see here a good green flag run. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see a good green flag run. We want to see some good, hard, tight battling out there on the racetrack here as we're just on lap number 20 of 167. We got a long ways to go here, a lot of racing action ahead of us for each and every one of these drivers. As Wolsifer, though, does get the jump he was looking for. Great launch, great jump there for the Stance Built ride, and he's got that Chevrolet rolling, but here comes those fresh tires. This is where they're going to start to really use them to their advantage here as they're going to reel in this 56 rather quickly. What he needs to do is take their line away, dump the dirty air onto their nose, and make them tight, make them have to kind of roll out of the throttle, try to slow them down as much as possible to really try to help himself out, try to stay as tight as he can here to the front of the field for as long as possible. So that way things can kind of leapfrog and kind of roll his way with that extra set of tires back there behind pit wall. But for Richard Wolsifer, man, he's doing a great job at it as he's going to lead lap number 21 here this evening. So 21 laps down. Still a lot of laps left to go here as Kyle Tabb, though, looking to try to work his way back out in front, looking to try to take that race lead back away from that 56. But this is exactly what Richard needs to do, man. Just keep on putting that dirty air onto the nose of the 41 ride. Continue to try to make things difficult for him and not allow him to get the run he needs to steal this race lead. And there you go. He slides up in front of him down at corner number 4. Unfortunately, kind of blocks any run that the 41 ride was going to get. And for Richard Wolsifer will lead another lap out there on the Speedway. I'm not sure how long he'll be able to keep up with it. I'm not sure how long he'll be able to hold off this 41. And see a big move right there. Great crossover. 56 went up to kind of throw the block. The 41 jumps down to the inside. Maybe now with a little bit more of that preferred groove down through corner number 3 and 4. But Richard trying to hold strong here on the outside with them. Back down across the line. It is Richard Wolsifer who will lead lap number 23 here as well. But I think this may be the lap down through corner number 1 and 2 that the 41 ride's able to pull back out in front and try to pull away here from the number 24 Jack Simpson. Is Simpson there in that third position. Matt Sisler into position number 4 with Gage Wenzel back there rounding out our top 5. Jaden Newson's rolling there in 6 with John Osborne, Dallas Heumann, Cendric Ingram, and Brian King rounding out our top 10. Corey Danks there in 11th with Connor Fuge, Doug Denise, Trevor Massetti, Dalton Wakers back in that 15th position. Kent Bueller, Jeff Carson, Anthony Ludy, Drew King, Max Koss there in that 20th position here on the Speedway. Right there behind him, you do see Dwayne Furtick in that beautiful HendrickCars.com DK ride as the 51 still with a little bit of right front damage here on his race car, rolling back there just outside our top 20. So isn't Michael Carter, Adam Boughton, and unfortunately for Tommy Pulte, I believe he has gone a couple laps down, trying to stay down pit side for an extended period of time, trying to get this 26 repaired. Obviously still some pretty solid right front damage here after that tire spin, that mistake there on the last restart that got him up and into the outside fence and caused that second yellow flag of the day. But for Pulte, rolling there in 24th. Currently, right now, he's the only driver a lap down or multiple laps down here. So he could be in line for some lucky dogs here if he's lucky. If he can catch a quick caution flag, could get a lucky dog, could get himself right back into the action here this evening, as he is only one lap down. But the longer this run goes, the more and more likely he may, unfortunately, fall 2 laps down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. As you do see the stance-built rider Richard Wolsifer now just trying to hold on to second as the 24 Jack Simpson tries to get after him here, tries to make some moves. He wants to jump up here and make the pass and jump up into second, because he's seeing Kyle Tabb out in front with that clean air and pulling away here, starting to inch a little farther and farther out in front and building a bit of a lead here for himself this afternoon as Jack Simpson rolls there in that third position. Matt Sisler up into position number 4, and John Osborne, his teammate, there in that 5th spot on the Speedway. So Osborne battling his way back inside the top 5, is able to work his way around Gage Wenzel. Jaden Newson's right there as well in 7th. Ingram, Dallas Humans, Brian King, great run here for King, Dallas Humans, and Cedric Ingram from deep in the field. Same with Jaden Newson. Newson started all the way back, we believe, in the 22nd position. Cedric Ingram started back in 23rd. Woo, baby. A couple of these drivers from deep in the field and up a lot of positions for Jaden Newson. He's up 16 spots from where he started. Cedric Ingram up 15 positions. When you look at Dallas Humans, he's up 12 spots. Jack Simpson and Richard Wolsifer, they're up 11 spots here on the Speedway. So you do see Jack Simpson able to work his way around that 56 of Richard Wolsifer. So Wolsifer does fall back to 3rd, but I mean, with the older tires here and on that different tire strategy, man, he's holding strong right now, man. He is definitely sticking right with these guys, right in line where he really needs to be, and trying to have that extra set of tires for late in this race. Now, you don't want to be bouncing it off the outside fence. That's something you got to be careful of there if you want to put that stance-built ride up and into victory lane here this evening. But sticking with these guys, showing that he's got a really strong car, and if he can have an extra set of tires late in this race, that could be the difference maker to try to put himself up and into victory lane here this evening. As Kyle Tabb, though, out in front, continues to lead the way. You do see Wolsifer able to battle his way back around Jack Simpson, but Simpson going to quickly look right back down to the inside, trying to steal back that second spot here on the racetrack. And this is kind of exactly what Kyle Tabb wants to see, as he's sitting out in front. He's trying to stretch out the race lead, and as Simpson and the 56 of Wolsifer battle here for position number 2, it's allowed him to kind of pull a little farther out in front here and try to open up a little bit more of a gap between himself and the 24 ride. Wolsifer, though, and Matt Sisler, unfortunately, they're going to start to see some more of these drivers reel into their back bumper here in a quick hurry, as here comes John Osborne, Gage Wenzel, and Cedric Ingram, all ready to pounce, ready to move forward and try to work their way up towards our top 5 here on the Speedway, and maybe even through the top 5 and towards the front of the pack. As you do see John Osborne reeling in his teammate, that 31 ride of Matt Sisler. Sisler doing a great job in the 3 birdies. Rowdy Forever, number 31 ride, rolling there in that 4th position, just looking to have a good solid day. Another great run there for the 3 birdies ride, and they try to finally find his way up and into victory lane again here in the Hypershift Racing League, as he was rolling there in that 4th position, looking strong. I mean, Osborne looking for another win here as well on his season, and I know they would love to have their teammates still up here with them. Unfortunately, getting tied up in that last caution flag has Dwayne Furtick with some pretty solid damage here still on that right front, and finding himself still scored back in that 21st spot. So really looks like it's kind of killed the speed out of this HendrickCars.com 51 ride, and being stuck kind of deep in the pack right here, man. Just kind of back there, deeper in the field, hoping, biding his time for a couple caution flags where he can try to hit pit road, trying to get this car repaired, back into one good piece, and back into the battle here today. But for right now, he's just kind of content back here, a little deeper in the pack. But he does have to be careful, man. If this is a long green flag run, falling this far behind, you may never get this time back. You may never be able to kind of reel in the rest of the drivers there in front of you, especially for the race leaders and for the 51 of Dwayne Furtick so far in the season, the most winningest driver to not be there to have an opportunity, a chance to win this race. You know, after 167 laps, man, it's going to be fairly disappointing for himself. I know he loves this racetrack, and he wants to be up there trying to battle and compete for the race win, and now being back there deep in the field with that damage, definitely going to throw a wrench into his plans here this evening. But that is racing right there in a nutshell, man. But look out tight out of corner number 3 and 4. Oh my gosh, Richard Wolsifer all over the door panel of the 24. Jack Simpson down and out of corner number 4. Luckily enough, they're both able to keep their cars pointed in the right direction, but quickly see Matt Sisler ready to pounce, ready to take advantage of it. So isn't John Osborne, and that 36 of Gage Wenzel is there right there, ready to pounce, ready to join the party here at the front of the field and trying to race their way into the top 3. And you do see Sisler able to use the outside lane to his advantage there through 3 and 4, and he will complete that pass and move up into that third spot on the Speedway. Now looking to go after Jack Simpson for position number 2. John Osborne able to just hug that inside white and blue line and able to try to battle door to door here with Wolsifer. Wolsifer doing a great job, though, sticking with that outside lane, able to carry a lot of speed down the back straightaway, and that will keep John Osborne back there behind him. So Wolsifer does a great job to hold on to that 4th position, but for how much longer will this car hold on here, because he's on, you know, quite a bit older tires here. Has about 11 to 12 laps of green flag racing on these tires compared to the rest of these cats out there on the racetrack, and that could be enough to kind of set him back a little bit more, you know, in this race and in this run. So we'll see how this 56 ride will hold up here over the next 10, 15 laps out there on the racetrack, and prior to potentially starting to see some more green flag pit stops here for all of these drivers. As green flag stops are just probably around the corner here for a lot of these guys, especially the ones that were down pit side on lap number 13. The drivers that came back down pit road there on lap number 17, sitting a little bit better. They can go a little bit farther, but not much. You do see the 56 get really loose there at a corner number 2. Shot down to the infield here, as you do see Osborne back to his outside. He's going to roll the inside groove now, and it's just some great racing back here. Second on back, man. These guys are making some big moves. A lot of drivers bouncing around. Everyone trying to find that lane, trying to find that run to work themselves a little farther forward. As now you see Gage Wenzel working to the outside here of Wolsifer for that 5th position. And it looks like Wenzel will steal it away from him. Big run there on the outside of corner 1 and 2. And for Gage Wenzel, jumps up and into position number 5. But Wolsifer, oh man, scraping that outside fence. That's a very dangerous game right there, man. One mistake, one slip up, getting in there just a little bit too hard could tear that car apart. And it looks like he already has just slight damage there to that right front fender. So he's got to be very, very cautious, very careful out there on the Speedway to not cause any more carnage there and potentially set himself even farther back here in this race. As the tire strategy, it may work out perfectly for him here, but you tear that car apart, you put yourself down behind pit wall, and out of this race, it's going to be all for naught. So you got to make sure that you do everything perfect here, and getting into the fence is definitely not going to help your cause. As you do see Kyle Tabb, though, out in front, continue to lead the way here. He's pretty content. He's got about a second between himself and Matt Sisler. John Osborne, as they battle door to door, teammates there in that 2nd and 3rd position. Looks like down the back straightaway, Matt Sisler will hold on to position number 2. John Osborne, though, rolling the inside lane, going to try to reel in and try to still make this pass, man. Still trying to make this move, and you do see Gage Wenzel right there ready to pounce. And Richard Wolsifer not going away. He's sticking with them. He is definitely not disappeared. He's staying right there, ready to pounce, ready to try to make some moves and try to race his way up and into the winner's circle here this evening. And right now the strategy could play out perfectly for him, could kill him though if this stays clean and green out there on the speedway and he never gets a chance or an opportunity to use that extra set of tires out there on the racetrack. So we'll have to wait and see here late in this race how this will all play out. It's down across the line. They complete lap number 45. So really throughout this run, oh, there it is, caution flag. Oh, look out, there's some issues out there on the racetrack. I do believe we're going to see a couple of drivers tied up in it. Drew King potentially in there. Max Koss potentially tied up in it, as Koss does look like he's had some problems here, and unfortunately will roll it down to the infield here and stop there on the bottom side of corner number 1 and 2. Until that thing down pit road. Some pretty solid front-end damage there for that 17 ride. Let's take a look back at it, see what happens as he's battling with Connor Fuge and Drew King. They roll down and out at corner number 4. Looks like he gets loose right there, and unfortunately, as he gets tied together with the 34 rider, Drew King, King's just got really nowhere to go right here. 17 gets loose, overcorrects it, snap hooks back up the racetrack across the nose of that 34 ride. That puts Drew King hard up into the outside fence, and some pretty solid contact and damage there as well for Max Koss. And that's where we see him take this thing down pit side, and unfortunately may be done for the day. We'll see if he can rejoin the field and get back into the battle here this evening. Now, one driver that will be very happy about it is this number 26 of Tommy Pulte. Pulte, first driver one lap down out there on the racetrack, will get the lucky dog, the free pass back on the lead lap, and right back into the battle here. Now he's got to get some of that damage repaired and hope to try to work his way back into the battle. But now, after, a good solid run right there, a pretty decent green flag run, you're going to see these drivers right back down pit road here, making another pit stop on the day, as they weren't too far away from green flag pit stops, which could definitely be fairly chaotic in their own. So I think for a lot of these drivers, just trying to, mitigate the damage here, and obviously whenever you can get a lucky chance to get a caution flag here at Charlotte, you take advantage of it. You hit pit road, you get fuel, you get tires, you get everything else that you desire, and trying to make sure that you can get yourself a good run late in this race. You do see everyone down here getting fuel, getting tires. Looks like everyone's making all the right moves right now. I think everyone knows that, hey, that's a pretty long green flag run, and I think for Richard Wolsifer, it's really going to work out well for him as he'll roll out of the pit still in about the 5th position. But it's John Osborne, I do believe, coming out of the pits here in that top spot. So Osborne may be able to jump out in front here. That's a great pit stop there for him and the team, man. Getting that car out first, having this top spot and control of the restart could be the make or break move that he was looking for here this evening. As Emma in the chat, Emma says, go Gage, cheering on Gage Wenzel, as Wenzel does come out of the pits there in that 3rd position. Matt Sisler comes out in 2nd, but John Osborne now with the race lead will look to try to hang on to it and try to keep all these drivers back there at bay here this evening. Is, man, this could be a lot of fun. Gonna be some great racing, gonna be a lot of great action, man, and these guys are gonna continue to put on a amazing show for us, man. Amazing race out there on the Speedway, as we still got a lot of laps left to go. As down across the line, they'll complete lap number 48 here this evening, and just under, I believe, 120 laps to go in this race. Fletcher, what's good, Fletcher? Fletcher coming in, showing the love. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Fletcher. Coming in, showing the love here in this one. What's good, brother? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Thursday and enjoying some great racing here with the Hypershift Racing League. As we get ready to set them back loose, we get ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening. The 11 of John Osborne out in front. He's got control. He's got that race lead, and he's looking to try to keep the rest of this field back there at bay and in his dust here this evening. But it's no easy task, man. Gage Wenzel, Matt Sisler, Kyle Tubb. You do see Wolsifer back there, as well as Jaden Newson, Jack Simpson, a pair of Canadians back there in that 6th and 7th position out there on the racetrack. And then Dallas Newman, Cedric Ingram, Doug Denise, Anthony Ludi, man, so many great talented drivers out there on the racetrack trying to work their way forward and trying to put themselves up and into maybe the winner's circle here this evening at America's home of racing here. Charlotte Motor Speedway, man. All these major shops for, Hendrick Motorsports and pretty much every single speed shop and team here in the NASCAR circuit, all here in Charlotte. And this is kind of a home track race for a lot of these drivers now. And here we go. We're going to get ready to set them back loose. Big launch right there. Big jump. Exactly what John Osborne needed. And luckily enough, looks like everyone made it through that restart cleanly. No one going around. No big tire spin or stack up. So everyone able to make a good launch right there. But they are still door to door for this race lead as Gage Wenzel wants it. The 11 of John Osborne trying to hold on to it as here he comes. That beautiful Tom Stacy Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches right. They're going to make contact. Look out. Oh, sideways for the 11. Caution flag is out. Caution flag is out. Hang on to it here, John. Oh, brother. That is a tough one right there. Battling for the race lead. Gage Wenzel and the 11 of John Osborne there. You got a great look at it as, unfortunately, these two just right here, just almost looks like a little neck code, but I'm going to say the 36 comes up a little bit too far right here. Whether it was neck code or not, contact was bound to happen, and unfortunately it does, and just gets into that right rear quarter panel and just hooks the 11 right around. It shoves the 36 down through the infield grass right there, and the 11 able to catch it, able to keep it still pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately for John Osborne, though, I mean, this is still going to set him back and put him deep in the field. But, man, look at this car down towards the apron here. Very close to making major contact with that infield safer barrier. Luckily enough, he's able to avoid that contact and doesn't get ran over by any other driver, and that saves this race car, man. Could have been game over there for him, but luckily enough, able to hang on to it and keep this thing in one piece and able to keep on battling as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to try to go back to green flag racing. Now, we did see Kyle Tab just run into some issues right here. The 41 ride down the back straightaway. Gets down onto the apron right here, then gets slow here on the racetrack. So I'm not sure what's happened to the JuicySpydr number 41. But he comes to a stop here on the bottom side of corner number 3 and 4. Does look like he gets it rolling, though. So for the Black Rifle Coffee Company, the Blackout Coffee Company, JuicySpydr Studios, number 41 ride, trying to get this thing rolling, trying to get this thing fired back up. I'm not sure what's gone wrong here for him, but definitely not what you want to see. Not sure if there's a fuel pressure issue. Oh, we do see a few more drivers running into problems here, too. We see the 24 ride of Jaden Newson. Jack Simpson also gets slow there on the racetrack. Looks like they were just trying to wait for the rest of the field to catch up. So luckily enough, they do catch up and able to get into it. As Max Koss, what's good? Max in the chat says that was not a normal Max crash. That was definitely not a normal Max crash. Unfortunate crash there for Max Koss, and obviously unfortunate break for yourself and for the 34 ride and for a lot of these other drivers that got tied up and tore up, and obviously none of these drivers, man, want to see yellow flags. And early on here in this race, I mean, we're not even at the halfway marker. And, I mean, we've seen some pretty solid licks out there on the racetrack, man. These guys have really tore things up here today, man. There's been some pretty good licks, some pretty solid hits out there. And unfortunately for a lot of drivers, kind of, a little deeper in the field. Obviously not really where they wanted to be here, a third of the way through this race. Being back deep in the pack and kind of just sitting back there, just trying to bide your time and race your way back up towards the front and trying to race your way, back into contention here. And just playing catch up, man, is never easy. It's never fun, and it's going to be very, very tough to do all evening long here today. Is making these passes, man, they're not as easy as it may look on Sunday night there during the regular NASCAR Cup Series race there for the Coke 600, man. Making passes, battling here with these race cars, especially at a mile-and-a-half speedway, man. It is very, very tough to do, and unfortunately contact is made, and unfortunately sometimes it takes out your favorite driver, and sometimes, caution flags fly at the right time. And here for Gage Wenzel, that yellow flag that came out for the 11 of John Osborne as he was sideways there on the racetrack after the contact, it still scores. Gage Wenzel right up there with these guys, and it does have Matt Sisler and Richard Wolsifer scored at the front of the field, but for some reason things are a little messed up right here. Showing Sisler out in front by an entire lap right here. They're on lap number 54, so I think they're getting slow on the racetrack now, waiting for the rest of these drivers to catch up as, Wolsifer, he's there in position number 2. He's checked up here as well. This is really going to mess things up here for this restart. And obviously for a lot of the field, a lot of the drivers here, trying to just figure out, where they're supposed to be. Some drivers may have gotten lucky with where they were positioned, where they were able to kind of come down pit road and what lap they were technically scored on. And I think for the 56 and 31 ride of Matt Sisler, it's going to put them at the front of the pack here as they do come to a stop on the back straightaway here. They will wait for the rest of the field to catch up to him here. As Max says, it just snapped and iRacing kind of crashed. It wouldn't run the replay, just black screen. Yeah, I think for a second or two there, you kind of blinked out for us as well, just as the crash was happening. So I'm sure for yourself, iRacing kind of failing on you obviously makes things very, very tough. We can go back and take a look at it. Let's see if we can find the max cost issue as, just tough contact, tough issues, and obviously you never like to see it happen. Let's see if we can take a look here. I believe this is where we're going to see, right here. Just looks like you get loose out of the corner here, and it just snap hooks on you. You try to correct it, snaps back up the racetrack into the lap there of that 34, Drew King. Unfortunately for King, got some pretty solid damage in it, but you see the blinkingness right there for you where that may give you a little bit more black screen or more issues there as well. And it blinks again here quite a bit as you take it down pit side and off the racetrack. And unfortunately now back behind pit wall and out of this race. Now, some drivers were able to come down pit road here, make some good pit stops, try to set themselves up nicely for this restart. And now with everyone making this additional stop, or not everyone really making this additional stop, only handful of drivers were back down pit road getting repairs or trying to get that extra bit of fuel or anything to their advantage. Unfortunately, one driver does get penalized. Tommy Pulte in the 26 machine. Too fast down pit road here. And that Rowdy Forever number 26 ride will have to make an additional stop here. So that's a bit of a tough break there for the 26 ride as this black flag will force him to make a green flag pit stop here, and this could definitely put him a lap down again, could definitely set him even farther back in the pack here, and being a lap down again, man, and seeing all these caution flags now, you want to have these mistakes kind of done and out of the way and not have them continue to kind of pop up here, throughout, this race, and having a late race penalty of this extent could definitely take you to the running. But luckily enough, still midway through this race, still the potential of many more caution flags. So if you do lose a lap, you could be right in line to get another lucky dog and right back on the lead lap here. So all is not lost for the 26 ride of Tommy Pulte here this evening as we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag race. I believe it's going to score Matt Sisler as our race leader. The 36 of Gage Wenzel will be in second with Kyle Tabb. The 56 of Richard Wolsifer there in fourth. Then we will see Jack Simpson, Jaden Newson, Cedric Ingram, and the 39 of Dallas Humans. Doug Denise is up there, and same with the number 7 of Corey Denk right up into the battle here as well inside our top 10 as the pace car finally makes its way back down pit side. And here we go, ready to roll again here at Charlotte is down through the Echo Park restart zone. Green flag is back into the air, and for Matt Sisler, man, great launch right there. Great launch, great jump. Exactly what he was looking for as he's able to jump down to the inside lane, take that inside groove away from Gage Wenzel, and able to kind of open up a couple car lengths here between himself and Wolsifer, as Wolsifer will jump in front of him. Richard Wolsifer now up and into position number 2 here, able to race his way around this 36 of Gage Wenzel. We saw what Wolsifer was able to do there with older tires for a while on the racetrack, but now kind of with some good clean air towards the front of the field here, battling hard with some great competitive drivers. This 56 ride honestly looking with the fresh tires to maybe race his way right back out in front, and maybe this time with the same tires, maybe able to pull away from these guys, put down the hammer, and try to pull farther and farther out in front this time. But for right now, he's still trying to play catch-up here on this 31 right of Matt Sisler. Sisler, man, he's looking just to run away with it, man. He's looking to just pull farther and farther away from these guys, keep them back there in his dust, in that rear view mirror, and trying to drive himself up and into victory lane here this evening as Sisler down the back straightaway. End of 3, nice and easy through the middle groove here, down towards the bottom for a corner exit in that beautiful corner centering right there for the 31, and for Matt Sisler will click off lap number 59 here this evening. So 59 laps completed. Still a ton of laps left to go here. 108 laps left of racing action. So if you've ran into early issues, if you ran into early problems here, you still got lots of time to try to rebound, lots of time to try to work your way back up towards the front, whether it's through pit strategy or if it's through just good hard driving out there on the racetrack, man. You still got time to shine here today, man. Still lots of opportunities to race your way towards the front of the field. As Sisler, Wolsifer, Kyle Tabb, Gage Wenzel, and Jack Simpson are top 5 here on the Speedway. Separate themselves a little bit from Cedric Ingram and Jaden Newson as they battle door to door for that 6th spot on the Speedway. It looks like Jaden's able to hang on to it, but for that Art Club number 32 ride, looking to try to battle right on back. Doug Denise a little farther back. They're in that 8th position. Then we do see Michael Carter and Dallas Humans rounding out our top 10. Anthony Looney's there in 11th with Dalton Wicker back in position number 12. Corey Denks in 13th with Brian King and Dwayne Furtick. Furtick rolls there in that 15th position, trying to race his way a little farther forward here and more towards the front of the pack again as the HendrickCars.com DK Ride has worked his way slightly more forward here, making some moves. Look like he's gotten that car a lot more repaired and back into good racing condition, and now hoping that he can race his way up towards the front of the pack here once again. I believe you're going to see Connor Fuge right there. He's trying to rebound from his early spin. John Osborne, who's ran into his issues, scored back in that 17th position. Adam Boughton and Trevor Massetti, they were in 18th and 19th. Drew King rounding out our top 20 here on the Speedway with Jeff Carson, Tommy Pulte, who I do believe had that black flag removed. So luckily enough for Tommy Pulte, did not have to make that emergency green flag pit stop. He will stay on the lead lap. And for Kent Mueller, back there rounding out our active drivers here, all in the lead lap, still rolling out there on the racetrack. 23 cats here, as unfortunately Max cost an early exit this afternoon. And for Dylan Huso, has not joined this race, but already some wild battles, man. Some wild racing action here this evening. And for right now, it's Matt Sisler out in front, man. The 3 birdies ride looking to try to find victory lane here this evening as Wolsifer and Kyle Tabb right there with them in that 2nd and 3rd position, not letting him run away with it. Try to keep that 31 ride of Matt Sisler honest out there on the Speedway. One slip up, one mistake. They're going to be right there, ready to pounce, ready to make the move to jump around him and potentially try to steal the race lead back away from that 31 ride, as each and every one of these drivers trying to inch themselves a little farther forward. As I do believe the last time we were off last week due to the passing of Kyle Busch, man, and forever in our hearts, man, forever rowdy Kyle Busch, man, may he rest in peace. Absolute heartbreaking news, heartbreaking week for the entirety of motorsports, NASCAR, friends and family, and fans of Kyle Busch around the world, as everyone's been feeling that pain, the heartache of KB. I mean, passing away, man, far, far too young, and far before the end of his, amazing, legendary career in NASCAR, and he'll forever be missed, man. There'll be no one else like Rowdy Busch, and man, our hearts and prayers go out to Samantha, Braxton, Lennox, and the rest of the RCR family and their families as well as, man, heartbreaking news. And unfortunately, that meant that we ended up canceling our All-Star race that was planned for last Thursday. So our All-Star race, unfortunately, has been pushed back. It wasn't quite canceled, but it will now be more of an All-Star race at the end of the season. So they will add an additional race at the end of the year, non-points or anything else here for the championship battle. So there's no points on the line, just a good, solid, fun run, and it's going to be another really interesting show. Going to be a great race and going to be some good fun here. And obviously, we'll have to look back at that one and look back at the career of Kyle Busch and what he meant to all of us and the reason why we'll be there in, October, November for technically our All-Star race at the end of the season. But for right now, it's Richard Wolsifer who sits out in that second position. Matt Sisler out in front leading the charge here. Sisler did pick up the win 2 weeks ago for race number 12 at Sonoma in the 2410 esports race. So for Matt Sisler, I mean, he's found victory lane now, and it looks like he's got a taste for it. And that Bernie ride just wants to keep on jumping up into victory lane, into that winner's circle, and he'll look to try to make it back-to-back dubs here in the IMB Racewear NASCAR Series here this Thursday night as he looks to try to make it 2 in a row for the Allegiant Racing team as the 31 ride out in front being chased down by Richard Wolsifer, Kyle Tabb, the 36 of Gage Wenzel, Jaden Newson's there in 5th, Jack Simpson's there in 6th. So for the 2410 esports team, rolling solid here in this race. Back in that 4th, 5th, and 6th position, man. They are looking pretty solid here. Just gotta wonder if they can find their way towards the front of the field here, what they're gonna be able to do, if they're gonna be able to try to run away with this one and keep everyone back there behind them. Maybe it could be a podium sweep here for the 2410 team as they're looking strong right now, all up inside our top 6 out there on the racetrack as Cedric Ingram trying to chase them down as he's back there in that 7th spot. You do see Doug Denise, Michael Carter, Anthony Ludi there running in our top 10. Ludi had fallen back early. We saw him at one point down, 9-10 positions. And for the Robin Hood Toyota Camry, rebounded nicely here. Has gained some pretty good track position. Back up inside the top 10, right where he started this feature event. And for the Robin Hood ride, we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to start working his way forward here. Start to play some of that strategy to chase down our race leaders. Put his name into the ring here for the win this afternoon. As you do see the beautiful number 39 of Dallas Humans right there behind him. Dalton Waker's there in 12th. Dwayne Furtick's battled his way back up into 13th. Same with Osborne there in 14th. So a couple of those Allegiant rides trying to race their way back up towards the front. Obviously, we saw the 51 get tied up in the Pulte issue on the restart where he ended up with some damage and unfortunately had to make multiple trips down pit road and lost all of his track position and the contact between Gage Wenzel and the 11 of John Osborne that sent Osborne around and unfortunately, sliding down through corner number 1 there. Unfortunately, he had to go to the back of the pack here, made a pit stop, probably put a new set of tires on after flat spotting the other pair here and, battling back nicely, but obviously running at a time here in a quick hurry. He's out across the line. They complete lap number 74 here this evening. 74 laps down in this race. Be 75 this next time by the start-finish line, and we're inching closer and closer to our halfway marker here this evening, man. Halfway just around the corner, and for these drivers, you had a bad first half. You got to have a much better second half to try to race your way up towards the front of the pack here, and it may be a little too late here for some drivers to even try to work their way back into the fight here at the front of the field, as things could stay very clean and green, but you just never quite know how things will play out here throughout a good, hard green flag run. As you see Gage Wenzel able to jump up into 3rd. Kyle Tabb does fall back to 4th as Newson Simpson trying to work to his back bumper here, trying to race their way through the top 5 here this evening. But for Matt Sisler, sticking out in front, he will complete lap number 76 now here this evening. And I believe for a lot of these drivers, we're last down pit road, down at around lap 47. Some were back down pit side during that caution flag on lap number 54. But for most of these drivers, I mean, green flag pit stops, probably only a I mean, we did have quite a few caution laps there as well, so really probably a little farther than what we're anticipating, but I'm feeling like we're probably going to see these drivers be able to kind of make it roughly somewhere to around lap 90, maybe a little bit past that, maybe closer to lap 100 before they're heading down pit road, but you know, it's definitely going to be a busy, busy place here. And if we can stay clean and green, man, it'd be great to see some, you know, green flag pit stops and really see what these drivers are able to do under the pressure of these green flag stops because, man, we've seen so many mistakes, so many problems down pit road throughout this season. And honestly, for a lot of drivers, you want a chance to win races, you want a chance to potentially win a championship. You got to be perfect, not only out there on the racetrack, but you got to be dang near perfect down pit side as well. And, you know, getting caught speeding, getting a black flag or anything else, man, can honestly take some wins away from you, some bonus points away from you, and could potentially take you out of the running for, you know, a good solid win or a good solid finish, or maybe even, you know, out of a chance to try to battle for the championship here this season. So you got to be minding your P's and Q's. Can't be making big mistakes down pit side or just in general out there on the racetrack, because you don't know if you'll get another chance to gain those points back and recoup what you lose out there on the racetrack after you know, an unforced error out there on the racetrack. But for the 31 of Matt Sisler, man, he's got some company. That 56 of Wolsifer, we talked about him, man. When he had older tires, he was holding tough with these guys. He was really putting up a fight with, you know, 10, 12 lap older tires than the rest of the drivers around him. And now here he is with fresh tires, leveled out here with the rest of these guys. And here he is looking to try to maybe take the race lead away from Matt Sisler. So it seems like this 56 really comes to life, has a really good long-run car, and he's showing it right now. The tires hold up nicely for him, and he's hoping that he can use them to his advantage right now to take back this race lead, try to open up a gap here and pull away from everybody else before green flag pit stops start to fly here today. Is 81 laps completed here, and the 31 of Sisler sits out in front, continue to hold on to the top spot out there on the racetrack. Gage Wenzel still there in third. We do see Kyle Tabb in position number 4. The JuicySpydr Studios ride rolls there in that 4th position. Jack Simpson, Jaden Newson, they'll battle there, but it does look like Jack will jump up and take that 5th position away from his teammate as Jaden will fall back into that 6th position. Doug Denise right there ready to pounce. The Sirius XM Radio number 40 ride trying to navigate his way into that 6th position as he battles door to door with that Can Racing Skittles-inspired race car, the 78 ride. I believe that is a inspired Kyle Busch paint scheme here this afternoon with the Skittles Kyle Busch theme here for the Can Racing ride of Jaden Newson. But for right now, he's got to battle hard here, trying to keep this 40 ride at Doug Denise back there at bay. Looks like Doug is able to clear him down through 1 and 2, so move Doug Denise up and into position number 6. Jaden Newson falls back into 7th as Cedric Ingram, Anthony Ludy, Michael Carter rounding out our top 10 now. Adam Boughton's up into 11th as John Osborne's there in 12th. Corey Danks in 13th with Dalton Wicker there in 14th. Dwayne Furtick has fallen back a little bit more here again as he's now scored back in that 15th position as Dallas Newman's all over his back bumper. Brian King's right there ready to pounce as well. Some tight racing back here midway through this field, and a lot of these drivers trying to inch their way forward here. Some drivers a little bit better on the short run, other drivers a little bit better on the long run, and now we'll start to see who's got those long run race cars as we're starting to get into our longest run of the day here. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's going to be real fun when we start to see these guys hit pit road, man. What do you guys think? How many black flags will we see? How many pit road mistakes will we see here this afternoon? I'm going to say on this first wave, we're going to see 3, maybe 4 black flags here. I don't want to. I got faith in all these drivers, but man, this is a tough pit road. Everyone's trying to gain everything that they can, and we could see some big mistakes down pit side. And I think for a lot of these drivers, I think that's going to be the big challenge here this afternoon is going to be these green flag stops. That is going to be the make or break here on how you finish this race, and it's going to be interesting to see who's going to hit it, who's going to miss it, who's going to run into problems, and who's going to be able to hit their pit stall perfectly and potentially put themselves into a winning position out of it, as we do see Matt Sisler back down across the line. Will complete lap number 87. So 87 laps completed here this evening, and only 80 laps left to go here in this race. 80 more laps left to duke it out, as we are virtually just past our halfway marker here this evening. Halfway in, halfway to go here with 80 laps left. Who will get it done? Who will find their way up and into victory lane? Will it be Sisler, who can hang these guys off and, put himself up into victory lanes? We do see John Osborne. Osborne's the first taker here. So for the KCO G-Shock number 11 ride, it's pit lane right here. First driver to hit pit road. He's trying to use it to his advantage, and it may have played out perfectly for him, as the caution flag is going to fly. Connor Fuge, heavy damage here on the 19 ride. Gonna wonder, I don't think they were anywhere close together. So Fuge and Massetti gonna run into some issues here. Massetti's down low. Fuge is up on the outside lane right here. 88 gets a good run, but then down into the quad oval. Just again, looks like one driver coming down, the other driver, really kind of holding their line right there. Really not making too much movement, and unfortunately, I think it's just the driver on the outside right here. Yeah, you see Fuge coming down. Unfortunately, finally goes over the nose of the 88, and for Massetti, he couldn't really go much farther lower there, as he almost clipped that infield grass, and unfortunately, that's just going to hook the 19 right around, and as he goes for a loop-de-loop, he'll back it up onto the racing surface right there. Hard contact into the outside safer barrier, man. Big hit there for Connor Fuge, and unfortunately, that will bring the caution flag back out, and that's going to make things very, very interesting here for these pit stops, as Fuge was going around. John Osborne was hit pit side at the exact same time, and it looks like he's going to be taking that pit stop right here. So he does get the pit stop in. Now, I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. We do see our race leaders go around him here, so he may have to take a wave around to get himself back on the lead lap. So I think this is probably actually going to hurt the number 11 of John Osborne, I believe, because he's a lap down. He'll get the wave around. He'll get back onto the lead lap here, but unfortunately, it's going to put him at the rear of the field here behind everybody else here this evening, as everyone else now makes their pit stop. Untimely caution flag really there for the number 11 ride. I think if there might have been one more lap, if he was able to complete that pit stop, or maybe able to try to work his way back on the lead lap there, maybe it would have played out all right for him. But unfortunately here, this one kind of catches him, and he's the only driver that gets caught making that green flag stop and being caught a lap down as well. Going to set him back, as we do see he is going to get the wave around, I believe this time by the start-finish line. Should get the wave, and that should get him back on a lead lap. But, yeah, man, that's a tough break there for Osborne. You're trying to get an early pit stop in. You're trying to take advantage of the fresh tires and put yourself into maybe a little bit better of a position, pit-wise. And obviously that one kind of blew up in his face almost instantly as he was headed down pit road and saw the 19 ride go around and saw the caution flag come out. And unfortunately here, we'll set Osborne back in this one. So he'll get the wave, I believe, this time by the start-finish line. Lights should turn off the official iRacing pace car here. That should be our one to go. Back the green flag. There it is. Lights are off the official iRacing pace car. There's the 11 ride. He'll roll around the pace car, back on the lead lap, back into the action. But now he's got to catch up to the rear of the field right here and get ready for a big restart to try to put himself right back into the battle here today. As Matt Sisler, 24, Jack Simpson now in second. Gage Wenzel's back in third. Kyle Thames there in fourth. Richard Wolsifer, unfortunately, during that pit cycle, kind of fell back into that fifth position. Doug Denise rolls in sixth. Jaden Newson's in seventh. Anthony Ludy's up into 8th with Cedric Ingram and Michael Carter rounding out our top 10. Adam Boughton's back in 11th with Corey Dank, Brian King there in 13th. Dwayne Furtick scored in 14th. Trevor Massetti, Dallas Humans, Jeff Carson, Drew King back there. The 8 ride of Kent Mueller rounding out our top 20. Actually, no, he's back in 19th. Wicker's there in 20th potentially with the 26th of Tommy Pulte. John Osborne's got up to the rear of the field. Scored back there in 22nd. Last driver there. In the running order here, still on the racetrack is Connor Fuchs still down pit side, and Max Goss also down behind pit wall here out of this race early on this afternoon. But for everybody else, man, they are ready to rock and roll. They're ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, back to battling here at the beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway. As 92 laps completed here in this one, about 95 laps of racing action left to go. No, 85 laps. How many laps left in this race, chat? We're running out of time in a quick hurry here. These drivers are clicking off the laps here in a hurry, and we're inching closer and closer to our checkered flag here in this one, man, as each and every one of these drivers trying to find their way into victory lane. A lot of movement, a lot of slicing and dicing, as you do see Sisler, though, able to hang on to the race lead. Gage Wenzel able to work his way up and into position number 2 as Jack Simpson falls in to that 3rd spot here on the racetrack. But it is 24-10 Esports Rides rolling 2nd and 3rd on the racetrack now. They're hoping to go after that 31 of Matt Sisler for this top position. Kyle Tams rolling there in 4th with Wolsifer there in 5th. He's got Jaden Newson trying to work to his inside. Jaden wants to try to join the top 5 and join his 24-10 Esports teammates here in the top 5 here this afternoon. Doug Denise rolls in 7th. Nate Ludy, Cedric Ingram, Michael Carter, Adam Boughton, Dwayne Furtick, our top 12 out there on the racetrack, man. Everyone still shuffling around. Everyone still trying to find their way towards the front of the field here in this one. But for Matt Sisler, man, he has found it, and he is looking to run away with it, trying to build up a good solid lead between himself and the rest of these drivers. We do see Dalton Wicker falling way back right here. Wicker now scored all the way back in 22nd, so it looks like he's ran into some issues in that Gary Sinise Foundation number 77 ride. Now scored back in 22nd, off the pace here quite a bit, and unfortunately falling farther and farther away from the rear of the field here in this run. So I'm not sure what may have went wrong for the 77 ride, but he is definitely in a very, very difficult position. As Sisler down across the line will click off another lap and lead another lap here as he's quickly reeling into potentially closing in and locking down the most laps led in this race. And I believe he has also ran the quickest lap of this race. It's the only one inside our top 16 that has hit a 28-second lap time. I don't think anyone else, no one else has ran a faster lap than Matt Sisler. So Sisler, man, he's looked really, really strong here today. Qualified in 3rd. He's out in front. He's led a lot of laps. He's had the best lap time out of anybody out there on the racetrack so far. And for Matt Sisler, looking really strong here this evening. But we do see teammates back there behind him as they have completed 97 laps. We only have 70 laps left to go here in this race. Be 69 this time by the start-finish line, so 69 more laps left to duke it out here this evening as we'll jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up section here this evening, giving us the sights and sounds around Charlotte Motor Speedway's out in front and continuing to lead the way. It is this number 31 ride of Matt Sisler. Sisler still out in front, still showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one as Sisler, man, he's looked really strong here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if he can close this one out as Gage Wenzel, the number 41 rider, Kyle Tabb right there, ready to try to pounce, try to work their way out in front as that beautiful Tom Stacy Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches, number 36 ride, rolling there in second. The JuicySpydr Studios 41 rider Tabb there in position number 3. Jack Simpson's back in fourth there in that beautiful 2410. Max Motorsports number 24 ride there in that fourth position. Richard Wolsifer back in position number 5 there on the Speedway. We've seen some really solid racing, some really good runs from that 56 ride here today as well. And him rolling there in that fifth position still. I mean, looking to put together a great race and a good performance. We'll have to wait and see if he can try to put himself up towards, maybe the front of the field late in this race, maybe into victory lane as Adam Boughton stormed his way back from deeper in the field as the Boughton Enterprises ride jumps up into that sixth position. Dwayne Furtick making the move here around Doug Denise for position number 7. So for Dwayne Furtick, man, bouncing back here. It's taking him a little while, but finally back inside our top 10, back inside our top 7 for the 51 ride of Dwayne Furtick as he'll look to continue to try to work his way here to the front of the field after early contact and damage on a restart. Luckily enough for the 51, able to stick with it and looking to try to make this one count, man. Make this one, worth it. All the struggle and all the battle in there, early on in this race and through the middle of this race with the damage, getting a good amount of caution flags, though, to be able to get the service done to that 51 ride and then still be able to work his way through traffic as well and race his way towards the front of the field here. Furtick looking strong as of right now as Anthony Ludy able to make his way around Doug Denise as well, as it looks like Denise definitely falling back here like a rock as you will see Ludy, Corey Denk, John Osborne, and everyone else pretty much get around him as Doug Denise hits pit road here. They just completed lap 120 here this evening, so he hits pit road with about 47 laps of racing action left to go here in this one. So 47 laps, is that the number here potentially for the 40 rider Doug Denise be making his final stop of the day as he hits pit road? I mean, this is fairly early. It's only been 30 laps since these drivers were last down pit side. So I mean, really has not been too long since he was down pit road. I think for a lot of these drivers that are still rolling out on the racetrack, a lot of these cats are going to be looking to try to split this final run. They were last down pit road on lap number 90. I feel like we're going to probably see these guys down pit road somewhere around lap number 130, somewhere in there, kind of make it 40 laps and about 37 laps where they maybe have a little bit better tire, a little bit longer if they're on the racetrack instead of trying to go for a 47 lap run like we see at Doug Denise. But making that earlier pit stop, though, could potentially leapfrog Doug Denise quite a bit farther forward, and if passing becomes, very, very tough, I mean, even with the older tires compared to some of these other drivers by, 10, 15 laps, maybe it'll still put him into a good spot that he can, leapfrog a lot of these guys with the fresher tires right now as they have not made their way down pit road, and could work out in his favor. But if there is an untimely caution flag, like we saw earlier on for the number 11 at John Osborne, I mean, would put him a lap down. I do believe he scored as the first driver 1 lap down. Unfortunately, here for Doug Denise, Kent Mueller also a lap down here. He was down pit side back on lap 117. So a few laps earlier than Doug Denise. And, I mean, they were quite a ways away from each other there prior to the 8 ride coming down pit road. And he's right there with them. So, I mean, that 3 laps of, good fresh tires was able to work himself quite a bit farther forward and right towards Doug Denise's back bumper here. So the tires definitely pay off. They definitely work in your favor as the tire wear definitely a huge factor here this evening. And for a lot of these drivers, I mean, they're running, a lot slower than what they were earlier on. Compared to their best lap times that they've laid down, they are currently running about a second and a 1.3 seconds, almost 1.5 seconds slower than what they were for their best lap times of the day. So if you're making a second or better out there on the racetrack with fresh tires compared to old tires, I mean, it really helps you out here, and that could definitely leapfrog you here late in this race. As you do see Kyle Tabb up and into second here. Gage Wenzel is falling back to third here, and for Kyle, he's actually reeling in Matt Sisler for what could be the race lead here. The 41 ride coming on strong here late in this run, and he's reeling in this 31 machine of Matt Sisler. We saw Sisler kind of fall off towards the later half of the run last time prior to that caution flag. He was able to keep the race lead, but he may not be that lucky this time, as Tabb is reeling him in. I think for the number 31 of Sisler, here he comes. He's coming down pit road. I was going to say, when the 41 catches him, I think that's when he needs to hit pit lane, and this is maybe going to be the start of our first wave of green flag pit stops and potentially our final pit stop of the day as well. So this is the money stop. You cannot have a mistake. You cannot have an issue. You need to get everything you can. You need to make sure you hit this strategy perfectly to work in your favor. And for the 31 Ryan, gives up the race lead. He will be the first driver here out of our front runners to hit pit road. And obviously giving up that race lead, man, that's a tough thing to do. And you see the crew going to work, getting tires onto this thing, getting fuel. He will lose a lap, so he will fall back behind these guys. But we will see potentially another driver hit pit road with them. There's the 78 of Jaden Newson. So Newson also came down pit road there with Matt Sisler, pitting back on lap 127 here this evening. So we'll see where that kind of puts him, as well as Jaden. Oh, Jaden goes for a slide here. What in the world? Jaden get this thing pointed back in the right direction. Luckily enough, that does not bring out a caution flag. I think just down on that dirty apron. Cold tires, and unfortunately the 78 gets sideways right there, goes through the grass. That's going to cost him a lot of time. That's going to set him even farther back out there on the racetrack, and quickly see our race leaders reeling into him here as well, but maybe put him 2 laps down, as we do see that beautiful Sign Creations, the Sign Creations number 39 right at Dallas Humans. Humans hits his pit stop. The crew goes to work. They get this thing jacked up. They get tires onto it. They're getting it full of fuel. And there he goes. Human makes his potential final stop of the day. And he gets rocking and rolling back out onto the racetrack, as we do see a few more drivers hitting pit road. Here comes the 88 of Trevor Massetti. That number 9 ride of Jeff Carson down pit road. But we're still waiting for virtually our top 15 drivers to make this final stop of the day, as, oh no. Where is the 41 ride? He's disappeared. Dwayne Furtick hits pit road. Anthony Ludi hits pit road. 41. Doug Deneve, Jess Carson, Matt Sisler. Okay, Kyle's down pit road here as well. Okay, there's the 41 ride. Kyle Tabb is down pit side here, so Tabb is making his pit stop, as well as Ludi and Furtick. I don't know what happened to him there for a little bit. He was kind of off the race screen there. I'm not sure what happened there to the 41, but he is down pit road making his pit stop, and unfortunately, he has lost quite a bit of positions here. He is really falling back, so I'm not sure if he's gotten up into the outside fence or held up with lap traffic or what may have happened, but unfortunately here for Kyle Tabb, man, he is falling quite a bit back behind these guys and has lost a lot of track position out there on the racetrack, and now making this pit stop. I mean, he's going to have to try to make up a lot of ground to rebound and try to race his way back up towards the front of the field here. I'd be almost interested to go back and see if he did get up into the fence or if he got tied up with lap traffic, as you do see Corey Dent. Corey's raced his way up to the front of the field here. The Gary Sinise Foundation, number 17 of Corey D, finding his way out in front of the field here. So Corey coming on strong here. Great late run car. And for the 17, finally able to display that, as he's been able to chase these guys down, make some big moves. He's raced his way around Gage Wenzel, Jack Simpson, Richard Wolsifer, John Osborne, Adam Belton, and raced his way to the point here. And for the 17 rider, Corey D, he's got some great speed right now, and he's laying down good lap times compared to the drivers back behind him. And as they get ready to start to make green flag pit stops here, this could be, kind of a great break for Corey Denk to be able to kind of stretch this out a little bit farther here. Could give him good tires for a little bit later in this race, but it'll all be about when, this caution flag potentially flies, if there will be a late race yellow, and potentially who may be trapped a lap down out there on the racetrack. As you take a look back here deeper in the pack, Matt Sisler scored in 13th here. He is currently the first driver 1 lap down, but he's been out there on the racetrack for quite a while, man. He's ran 9 laps here since he was down pit road. So, I mean, if there is a caution flag, even if he gets a wave around or a lucky dog, this is going to put him back behind the 8 ball, as he will have much older tires than the drivers that are still rolling out there on the racetrack. And there is the caution flag. Oh, my gosh. I think I spoke that one into existence, chat. I think I spoke that one into existence. It's Gage Wenzel who runs into a problem. Wenzel's down pit side here, making his pit stop. And he may have ran into the same issue we saw his teammate Jaden Newson run into. Gets onto the throttle right here. Tries to get this car rolling and try to build up that speed as quickly as possible. And unfortunately, cold tires, dirty apron. And as he does, he just gets a ton of tire spin. The car loops around, gets sideways, and slides down into corner number 1 now for Jaden. He unfortunately was down in the grass, so no caution flag was thrown. You see the tire tracks right there, but unfortunately, no caution flag for Jaden Newson. But where the 36 ride did loop it there just off of pit road entry, that does bring the caution flag out. So the yellow flag has been displayed, and now things will get very, very interesting as now we see drivers getting wave arounds and having to get lucky dogs. And for Corey Denk, he was out in front of the field here, looking really, really strong late in this race. As the Suns went down, the 17 has come to life, and maybe timing things perfectly there for him late in this stage. And now all of a sudden, with this caution flag, this will put him down pit road. Easy breezy. Don't have to worry about a speeding penalty or anything else. Same with John Osborne, Richard Wolsifer, Adam Boughton, Michael Carter, Cedric Ingram, Drew King, Brian King, Dalton Wicker, Tommy Pulte, who we saw run into issues there on the, I want to say, second restart of this race. And for the 26 ride, even still with that right front damage, still very much in this battle, still very much in this hunt at the front. And for the Rowdy Forever, Kyle Busch Memorial Race Car, the Snow Belt Industries machine, ready to go to battle, ready to duke it out. Corey Denk, though, will come down pit road with the race lead. It looks like he may leave pit road with the race lead. We'll have to wait and see. iRacing may have gave it to the 11 of John Osborne. Osborne, with that first pit stall, may have been able to just get out in front of that 17 of Corey Denk, and it looks like that may be the case here. So we'll see them all get stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle, ready to duke it out here again in this one for what is going to be a very, very exciting final, 28, 27 laps of racing action here this evening. We do see, okay, so it looks like Matt Sisler does get the wave around. He gets the lucky dog. He does come back down pit side. Let's quickly throw this into reverse. So I'm not sure if he's got a pair of scuffs back there or if he did have an extra set of tires back behind pit wall. But we do see tires going on to Sisler's ride. So at least for the 31, that's going to balance things out here for him. So he will have the same fuel, the same tires as our race leaders, but obviously still a huge loss of track position for Matt Sisler as he'll get lined up at the tail end of the field, and we will get ready to set him back loose. We'll see a bunch of drivers right here that were down pit road that'll be on older tires that will have less fuel in their race cars. Get the wave around, get the free pass back on the lead lap, and we'll get our race leaders stacked up 2 by 2 by 2, ready to go back to battle. As you see, Jack Simpson, Jeff Carson, Dwayne Furtick, Kent Mueller, Ludy's back there, Trevor Massetti, Gage Wenzel, we saw bring the caution flag out. He'll get the wave around. He'll get back on the lead lap here. Now score back in 18th. Dallas Humans there in 19th. Kyle Tabb, Jaden Newson's there in 21st. Doug Denise back in 22nd. I believe for Doug Denise, he has still scored 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. So unfortunately for Doug here, he ended up losing another lap in that Sirius XM number 40 ride. So for Doug Denise, still scored a lap down. I believe he is the first driver a lap down, and currently the only driver still rolling on the racetrack that is a lap down is Connor Fuge, still down pit side out of this race, and Max Cost also down behind pit wall and out of this race. The only 2 drivers that unfortunately will DNF here this evening. Dylan Huso never took the green flag, so technically won't start nor finish this race. But for the 11 ride of John Osborne, man, up and down day for that number 11 ride. But here he is in the later half of things as they complete lap 140. Only 27 laps left to go here in this one, and John Osborne sits out in front as it's a hornet's nest. Back there behind him is, oh, look out, chat. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if my internet's crashing or if iRacing just crashed on me. What in the world? I think iRacing just crashed on me, chat. Bear with us. What in the heck was that? What was that? Why did iRacing just crash? What in the world? What in the fluff? Just yeeted and deleted me, chat. What in the world was that? I need this to pop up to join here. Oh, there it is. Okay, join. Okay, we're launching back in. Bear with us. Bear with us. We're loading back in. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I promise you, we'll get there. I don't know why the heck that just happened. That was no warning, no nothing or anything. Just yeeted and deleted me out of there. That is pretty wild. I don't think I've ever really seen that happen. Huh. Something I'll have to look into. I don't know why the heck that may have just happened. Didn't come up with an error code or anything. Just closed it right on out. That was weird. That was really, really weird. Normally it throws like an error code or some sort of a message to say, you know, what happened, but that just, nope. See ya. See you later. Goodbye, it said. Goodbye. See you later. Adios, amigos. All right, well, it's loading back in. We're slowly but surely getting there. There we go. All right, we're back in. We're back in, chat. Alrighty, as we'll pick right on up here with 23 laps left to go here in this race. It's John Osborne who's got the race lead. As we will see, obviously, Trading Paints is going to refresh there, get everyone back into their right paint schemes. As John Osborne, though, out in front, he is able to hold on to the race lead there off that restart. And Adam Boughton in position number 2. Good run for Boughton now as he's up into that second spot. Richard Wolsifer trying to hold on to third here as he's got Michael Carter rolling into his inside groove right here. Carter's trying to jump up into the top 3 here himself. Matt Sisler back there in that 5th position trying to chase down his teammate John Osborne at the front of the field here. Sisler has been able to make some good moves there on that restart, trying to race his way forward out there on the racetrack. Corey Denk there in 6th as he's got the 34 rider Drew King down to his inside. Dalton Wicker in position number 8. Cedric Ingram and Jack Simpson round out the top 10 here on the Speedway. Good runs going here. Some pretty solid drives for a lot of drivers a little deeper in the field here. Majority of this race, but now up towards the front and looking to try to put together a really, really good race here. As you do see Jack Simpson has gotten a little bit of right front damage there on the 24 ride. We'll have to wait and see how that affects him. Same with the 17 of Corey Dank. Looks like he's maybe gotten up into the outside fence as well. That right front damage for him looks like he's falling back like a rock right now as the 24 Simpson, the 32 ride of Ingram will both get around him. And now here comes Jeff Carson trying to race his way into the top 10 here this evening. Dwayne Furtick back there in 12th with Gage Wenzel in the 13th position. Anthony Ludi, Trevor Massetti, Dallas Humans there in 16th. Jaden Newson, Kyle Tabb there in 18th here. Heartbreak for the 41 ride, man. Having such a good day, leading a lot of laps, looking really, really strong in that JuicySpydr Studios ride, but now finding himself back in that 18th spot on the Speedway. Kent Mueller's there in 19th. Tommy Pulte rounds out our top 20. Brian King in 21st. Doug Denise back in 22nd. First driver one lap down on the racetrack. Connor Fuge and Max Cost still down and out of this race. But for John Osborne, man, out in front, leading the charge here, hoping that he can just continue to pull farther and farther away from these drivers, trying to keep them all back there at bay, and hoping that he can navigate his way up and into victory lane here this evening at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And some really, really good racing, man. Some great drives here this afternoon. We've seen a few caution flags, our ups and downs on the day, but for the most part, man, some good, solid green flag runs, some great racing, and some great battles here for each and every one of these drivers in the Hypershift Racing League. And it's quickly coming to a close with only 17 laps left to go here in the IMB Racewear NASCAR Series. From Charlotte Motor Speedway, nice and easy, down at corner number 4, back down across the line for the 11 ride of John Osborne. It'll be 16 laps left to go. 16 more laps left to duke it out here at Charlotte. And I mean, Osborne, man, he may not be done battling, because you do see Boughton sticking right there with him, trying to stay glued to his rear bumper. Richard Wolsifer's right there. Michael Carter and Matt Sisler, they're ready to pounce. They're ready to put their name into the battle here. And Drew King up and into that 6th position, man. Great run going for that beautiful United States Postal Service number 34 ride, is he's battling here with the 77 of Dalton Wicker. Looks like Wicker trying to steal that 6th spot away from him. Drew King's trying to hold on to it. Cedric Ingram's right there ready to pounce, as well as Jack Simpson and Jeff Carson now round out our top 10. And you do see Carson in that beautiful Carson setup shop number 9 ride, able to complete the pass, jump up into the 9th position for the number 9 car, as the 24 of Jack Simpson falls back into the 10th spot on the Speedway. Corey Danks there in 11th. Dwayne Furtick hunting him down, and so isn't that 36 of Gage Wenzel, as Furtick and Wenzel both trying to race their way back up towards the top 10 here this evening and try to finish off this race with a good, solid run. Unfortunately, they're running out of time here in a quick hurry. There is not a lot of laps left to go, and right now it seems like for this 36 of Gage Wenzel, I mean, he's just kind of mirrored back here in that 13th spot, and he's actually getting past right now the 88 ride of Trevor Massetti, trying to make the move around him here, trying to steal that 13th spot away from Gage Wenzel as they're door-to-door here. 13th and 14th on the racetrack, and you do see Anthony Ludi in that 39 ride of Dallas Humans, both ready to pounce, ready to try to work their way around either one of these drivers if there is a mistake that happens here, as things are definitely tight. He's right there on that right or left rear quarter panel. My gosh, that was a little too close for comfort down and out of corner number 4, but you do see Ludi able to reel right into their back bumper, and he'll join this hunt here for the 13th spot on the Speedway. Great racing all around the racetrack, man. Everyone doing a fantastic job here this evening. Drew King trying to hold off Cedric Ingram now. Ingram trying to make this pass for position number 7. King's trying to hang on to it here late in this race, but out in front, it's all John Osborne here. It's down across the line. It's only 11 laps left to go. 11 more laps left to duke it out here in this one, man. Man, it's crazy. The 11 ride, 11 more laps left to go. Will there be fireworks late in this race? Will we see some more late race caution flags, or will it stay clean and green? And watch this 11 ride of John Osborne just try to pull farther and farther away here from Adam Belton, or just try to manage this gap and hope that the 94 and that 56 ride of Wolsifer cannot catch him, and he gets to just drive off into the sunset and up into the Charlotte Motor Speedway victory lane here this evening. We're about to find out as Osborne down the back straightaway, nice and easy here with 10 laps left to go. He does not want to see yellow. He wants to see the stage stay clean and green. He's feeling A-okay right now, especially if he's looking in that mirror and he sees Wolcifer starting to reel in Adam Boughton. They're going to start battling for position number 2, and that's exactly what Osborne wants to see. Now, he wants to see this battle kind of last a few laps, slow them both down enough that he can pull far enough away that they won't have enough time to reel him in. But it does look like Wolcifer able to run that outside lane to perfection. Gets a great run down the back straightaway, and he'll steal that second spot away from Adam Boughton. Boughton will fall back into third, and now for Richard Wolcifer, he's looking to try to chase down John Osborne. Osborne looking for another win here on the season for the Allegiant Racing team, and honestly another win here for himself as the 11 ride, the G-Shock machine, clicking these laps off here as quickly as possible. But there is the late race caution flag. I think I may have jinxed us again, chat. I may have jinxed us again twice in one race. That is absolutely wild. Oh, man, caution flag is displayed, and having himself a pretty solid run, but we saw the damage, saw him falling back. I believe it is the 17 ride here of Corey Denk who's going to run into some problems. Let's take a look here. Corey just down through corner number 3 and 4, trying to push it. Obviously the damage, maybe something finally let go here as he washes back up the racetrack into the outside fence, gets squirrely, tries to save it, gets checked up, and unfortunately finally that Gary Sinise Foundation number 17 ride loops around, still technically there on the racing surface. That's where the caution flag is thrown, and you gotta wonder if that damage on the right front there, you know, really affected that car, especially pushing up the racetrack back into the outside fence, and it looks like he's gonna tow it right down pit side here. So the damage may be a lot more, extensive than what he was thinking there, especially after that additional contact with the outside wall, and unfortunately now parked down pit road. Looks like it may be the end of the day for the 17 ride. But now it's decision time for all these drivers. If you got an extra set of tires back there behind pit wall, do you come down and use them? Do you stay out here? Looks like a couple takers and a couple fakers. And John Osborne, Richard Wolcifer, they stay out. So does Matt Sisler, Drew King, Jack Simpson, Dwayne Furtick. They're all going to stay out. But Adam Boughton, Michael Carter, Dalton Wicker, Cedric Ingram, Trevor Massetti, Jeff Carson, Anthony Ludi, Kyle Tabb, Jeff Carson. We see Pulte and King. A lot of these drivers are coming down pit road, making this pit stop here. And for Doug Denise, he will get the wave around the lucky dog, so this will at least get him back into the battle in that 40 ride here late in this race. But, man, this is going to be really interesting for John Osborne, Richard Wolcifer, Matt Sisler, Drew King, Jack Simpson, Dwayne Furtick, and the 36 of Gage Wenzel, all going to be on older tires here. Adam Boughton, Michael Carter, Dallas Heumann, Cedric Ingram, Tabb, Wicker, Carson. A lot of these drivers, man, on newer tires or maybe just on scuffed tires that may only have, 10 laps, 12 laps on them. Potentially could be enough, though. Could be enough to, be able to find that extra 0.2 a second, maybe even 0.3 out there on the racetrack, and that could be the difference maker between, coming home in, the 7th position or coming home maybe with the race win. And I think for a lot of these drivers, it was definitely worth the risk. And I think for Boughton, you could see that his tires were kind of fading away. They were a little shot there late in that run. So he makes the call that, you know what, I wasn't going to have anything to win this race. So I think that was the right call, man. I think if you're going for wins, you're trying to put yourself into victory lane here. If you knew that your tires were kind of gone, you had nothing left in the tank there for John Osborne and Richard Wolcifer, and, come down pit road, try to make something happen. Maybe the tires work out. Maybe they don't. Maybe you only work yourself back up into that 3rd position, and it nets out as nothing, positive or negative for you, or even you lose a spot or two. It's at least worth the chance that maybe you gain that spot or two, especially for Boughton or, Michael Carter or any of these other drivers that, you can maybe gain a couple spots and put yourself into a better position than what you were 3 laps ago. But we got them all stacked up, all racked up, all ready to go back to battle here in this one. Unfortunately for Corey Dank, he is down pit side. Looks like he is out of this race, but for everybody else, they are ready to go to battle, man. They're ready to duke it out here in this one for what is going to be a late race shootout. Now, this may be our final restart. It may not be our final restart. We may head to NASCAR overtime here this afternoon if there is another late race issue. And I think for how these drivers are going to be duking it out, how they're going to be battling, it's definitely a possibility. So we'll wait and see. Now this one gets played out, but for John Osborne, Richard Wolsifer, 1 and 2 down through the Echo Park restart zone for what could be our final restart of the day. A lot of tire spin though, that is always an issue, and look out, there's more drivers collected. Caution flag is back out. Oh, heartbreak there for Adam Boughton. Took those fresh tires, gave up that third position to hit pit road here, and it's the tire spin again on these restarts. And we don't see it just for our second place driver, but we see it for our fourth place driver here as well. So down through the restart zone, the 11 ride gets rolling. You're going to see some tire spin at a Simpsons ride. Then you see tire spin at a Wolsifer, at a Drew King. And unfortunately, both drivers get turned up into the outside fence there. Big hits for both of them. And unfortunately for Wolsifer, comes back down the racetrack into the lap there of the 94 of Adam Boughton. Boughton bounces off the 32 down through the infield here. But you're going to see so many more drivers get collected, including the 88 ride. Oh my gosh, how does Massetti go airborne right here as he gets in here? He gets a piece of the 56 of Richard Wolsifer, but then he gets absolutely shot up into the air right here as he drives in, gets a piece of the 56, gets hit from behind from Jaden Newson. You see Ludi get a piece of it. Mueller's going to get some contact there, but the 88 ride, airborne right there. Two-tire skid down through the infield. Luckily enough, lands back on all four. But, man, there is a lot of tore-up race cars, and that was the caution flag that we were thinking of, man. And obviously, that was a big yellow. So we do see Ingram's down pit side trying to get repairs done. So is Ludi, Ken Mueller. We're going to see Pulte and King, Kyle Tabb, Doug Denise, all coming down pit road looking to get some repairs and get their cars fixed up. There's Wolsifer down pit side, Boughton's down pit side. Honestly, unfortunately, already lap down there for the 94. Looks like he towed it down pit road, and that's definitely going to end his day, his chances at trying to win this race here this evening. But now that's going to make this a two-lap shootout. And as we look out in front, man, it's played out perfectly here for the Allegiant Racing team as they roll 1, 2, and 3 out there on the racetrack. John Osborne, Matt Sisler, Dwayne Furtick, 1, 2, and 3 out there on the Speedway. And we do see Jack Simpson and Gage Wenzel in position number 4 and 5. You're in this one. And then Michael Carter, they're in 6. Carter's now going to be the first driver with the fresh tires here in that 6th position. Dallas Humans, they're in 7th. Dalton Wicker in 8th. Trevor Massetti, even with the damage there, the 88 ride's going to stay out. He scored in 9th. Drew King, even with his damage, getting sideways up into the outside fence there and being a bit of a part of that yellow flag and out of the chaos that ensued there from the tire spin. Looks like he's going to stay out. He'll be restarting in the 10th position. Jeff Carson, Jaden Newson, Kent Mueller's back there in the 13th position. Kyle Tabb there in that beautiful JuicySpydr Studios 41 ride, scored in 14th. Ingram's back in 15th. Ludi's there in 16th, rolling back out onto the racetrack. Here comes Tommy Pulte. Doug Denise rolling back out there. Here comes Brian King and Richard Wolsifer here as they're trying to get some repairs, trying to get these cars, back into half-decent, shape. Getting ready for this restart is, again, another late race restart here. We were going to have probably, a 34 lap shootout there, but now we're headed to NASCAR overtime here this evening. These drivers say, 167 laps just wasn't going to cut it. Just wasn't enough. So we will head to NASCAR overtime, a green-white checkered. We will take the green flag the next time by the start-finish line. The white flag will be displayed. If the caution flag flies before we take the white flag, then we will sack them up, we will rack them up, and we'll do NASCAR overtime all over again. If the yellow flag comes out after the white flag, then that will end the race. But luckily enough, here on iRacing, we don't have to worry about that. If we take the white flag, the next flag will be the checkered flag. So do not lift, do not give up. You got to get everything you can, and there will be no yellow flags on the final lap here. So if you run into an issue, you got to try to work your way going forward here in a quick hurry, or else you're going to potentially lose a lot of spots to the drivers that also get collected with you. But here we go. Another big restart for the Allegiant Racing team. I mean, they're lined up 1, 2, and 3. They're looking for good, clean restarts, and there we go. We get it. Great restarts for these drivers, but the fresh tires in the outside lane. Here comes Michael Carter. Here comes Dalton Wicker. They're getting wound up. They're looking to get after it here. They push the 24 rider, Jack Simpson, up and into second, and Simpson looks down to the inside here, looking for the race lead. He pushes up the racetrack into the numbers of the 11 rider, John Osborne. It's tight down and out of corner number 4. They're bouncing off one another as the white flag is displayed. Final time around here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. John Osborne looking to try to hold on to the race lead. Jack Simpson, though, looking to take it away from him. They'll have one more set of corners as they head down into corner number 3. Big block right there in the 24 that will allow John Osborne to stay out in front as he will hold on to the race lead. Look out there, wrecking back behind him. Upside down goes the 24. Oh, baby, huge wreck there for Jack Simpson, but it's John Osborne, man, able to hang on to that one, man. Able to keep his foot in the throttle for those final 2 laps and will find his way up and into victory lane. Dalton Wicker will come home in second, and Jeff Carson will come home in third. Heartbreaker here for Michael Carter. Heartbreaker for the 24 rider, Jack Simpson. Simpson threw a big block there on the 18 ride, heading down into corner number 3. Carter's going to work his way down low, though, as the 24 pushes up the racetrack, and as they are door-to-door down and out of corner number 4, you're going to see the 77 ride here all over the back bumper of the 18 ride. Looks like he actually moves up the racetrack right here. So I believe you're going to watch the 77 right about here. Dalton Wicker is just ever so slightly going to move up into that left rear quarter panel of the 24. And as he gets a piece of the 24 ride, it kind of just hooks Jack Simpson into Michael Carter. And that's going to hook Carter around, and then it's on like Donkey Kong as they wash up the racetrack into the outside fence, just 100 meters or 100 feet away from the start-finish line. And you see the 24 ride get upside down there through that quad oval, and unfortunately a lot of other drivers get tied up in it. Matt Sisler goes around, and everyone else trying to work their way through it after the checkered flag, but unfortunately for the 24 ride, looks like his night will end on his lid down into corner number 1 here. So tough hit there for him, and unfortunately will not end on the podium, but still 4th place, even though he was upside down and airborne there. He will come home in position number 4 here this evening. Obviously, still disappointing run there. Obviously had potentially a 2nd or 3rd place run there in those closing laps, and just did not quite work out into his advantage. But John Osborne, he's able to put himself up and into the winner's circle. He gets the dub here this evening, and we'll get ready to pull him up here into the broadcast booth for his post-race interviews, man. John Osborne with a absolute heck of a drive, a great performance here, and able to capture the dub here in this one, man. Let's pull him up here into the booth. Hey, John, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Woo! Boy, Oh man, yes, I'm here.
John, man, that was a very, very exciting night, man. A lot of tight racing, a lot of great battles here. And honestly, for yourself, like a lot of these drivers, man, up and down day, having to battle back from adversity as you're leading the race. You get contact there between yourself and the 36 of Gage Wenzel. You go around, but luckily enough, no major contact, no major issues, but you lose a lot of track position. You had to play some strategy, you had to try to work your way up towards the front, and finally you were able to do so there, and especially with a timely caution flag there where it traps a lot of other drivers a lap down. You are yet to make that green flag pit stop, and that plays out perfectly for you here late in this race as you're able to just get that race lead and hold these guys off, even with these late race restarts and the NASCAR overtime, the 24 of Jack Simpson bouncing off your door panel there, on the penultimate lap of this race, and all the craziness back there behind you. You hold them off and somehow or another find your way up and into victory lane. John, take us back through it, man, and what's kind of going through your mind here as you get to celebrate here at Charlotte.
Man, Charlotte is by far one of my best tracks. I've had very great success here, especially this year. I did not expect to put it on the pole with the lap I laid down. I didn't get into 3 very well, and just thought, I was like, well, hopefully she'll be in the top 10. Did not expect it to be on the pole position. So, the goal early was just kind of try to save a little bit, until the track cooled down, so it would grip up, because as the fuel burned off, it did get a little slick. We had a couple of cautions there. I know the 36 got me. I went ahead and took the blame for that because I can't see when I'm in the car. I felt like I was, as straight as I could be down the front stretch. And then my only goal there after I start spinning is just lock her down and just please don't hit the wall or come back up the track and hit everybody else. But everybody did a good job, man. I kept her damage free. And unfortunately, you're right. Yeah, put us in the back. And, it's so hard to get through the field here. The dirty air is just so bad. And, I mean, you can do your best to take care of tires, but you're still going to, burn the right sides off just because you're so tight and it just wants to go straight. And so I was just trying to go where other cars weren't, but then you got people fighting side by side, which makes it impossible. So you're like, oh, who's going to go? Is it going to be the bottom? Is it going to be the top? And, majority of the time it was the top side. But, yeah, you're right. We got that caution toward the end of the race where I hadn't pitted yet. And, having the first pit stall, I knew 4 was going to be the call. I just didn't think 2 was good tonight. And I was like, man, if I can get in my box really good, maybe I can get back out ahead and control the restart, which is what happened. And, then we just had a couple of cautions from there. And, what do we have? That last, or the first one to set up the green-white checkered, I think it was like 6 or 7 laps. And I'm like, man, I feel like we got to stay out here, team. I just feel like that's going to be the call. Clean air is king. And I just feel like, if some other guys stay out and the guys on fresh tires, they're, dirty air is going to be bad. They might not get by. And so I made a call. And I made it late, and I said, stay out, stay out, stay out. And thankfully, my 2 teammates, Matt and Dwayne, stayed out with me. And really, that was it. After that, I'm just like, please don't spin the tires on the restart. Please don't spin the tires on the restart, which is why I took the outside line. I can take a straighter line. Unfortunately, I got a great start. Spun him a little bit, but the, 56, I think, he spun his tires. But man, just trying to hold them off. I knew the 18 was going to be coming with 2 freshies on the right side. And I knew I didn't want to give anybody the top. And so, I got to give some credit to Jack there. He could have definitely, got way more into my door in 3 and 4, and he didn't. And so, I appreciate him for that, not really roughing me up there. He probably could have. And honestly, in that spot, I probably wouldn't have blamed him a whole lot since we're going for the win there. But I was able to stay clear. And after that, he kind of dirty air blocked the 18. And it was very unfortunate what happened to him at the very end there, coming off of 4. But yeah, man, we held on. And man, I'm just really excited. It was definitely some white knuckle moments there with 2 to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Some very, very exciting racing, some great battles, and a great finish here to close out this amazing race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And John, for yourself, you park this 11 ride back up and in victory lane here in the Hypershift Racing League. Brother, who'd you like to thank for another great run, great driving, great performance here for yourself?
Definitely want to give a big shout out to Kyle Busch. You know, this win's definitely for the Busch family and everything that Kyle Busch was able to accomplish in his racing career and just in his life, man. What a great guy. Good father, great husband, a good friend to all. It's a shame and a tragedy what happened to him. And so all my thoughts and prayers are with, his family, Kurt, his brother and his mom and dad and Samantha's wife and everybody at RCR and for every other team he's ever raced for, man. It's just really tough and unfortunate. And what he said at the end of his Dover race was so true, man. You just never know if it's going to be the last one and if the next one's going to come. And so, send a toast to him. Definitely want to thank my team, Allegiant Incorporated Racing. I appreciate my teammates so much. They really did a good job there at the end of the race to kind of protect for me. I know Dwayne had some damage and he was just trying to hold on for dear life. And, Matt led a lot of laps tonight. So I definitely want to thank them, man. We got a great team. We got a lot of momentum and very, very happy about that. I want to thank Anthony for putting this league on, having a blast. It's a lot of fun. And I want to thank you up here in the booth. What you get to do, and there's a lot of good action tonight, man. So you were probably talking a lot. So when you're done here, get you a good drink of water. Then last but not least, man, I want to thank my dad. Hopefully he's watching. I love my dad dearly, and Dad, we got another one. So love you, and we'll get after it next week at Richmond.
Absolutely, brother. We can't wait to see you back out there and see if you can park this 11 ride right back up and into victory lane. John, congrats on the dub here at Charlotte, and we'll see you back out there at Richmond next Thursday night.
Appreciate it, sir. Have a great week.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, John Osborne, as Osborne picks up the dub here this evening. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the number 77 of Dalton Wicker. Hey, Dalton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, buddy?
Not much, Dalton, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here this evening as you start in second and you finish here in second for the 77 ride, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind and how this one played out is obviously a fairly up and down day for yourself, but you're able to find your way up here onto the podium for a very solid performance here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, man.
It was a long race. Definitely interesting rules package and fun to drive. Fun to go that pace. Middle portion of the race, I was just trying to hang out. I knew there was going to be some more yellows, more people getting into it, especially with sliding around late in runs. So I wasn't putting any pressure on myself. Just wanted to get going, get some laps put in, and luckily it turned out towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Being in the right place, the right time there, and avoiding some of these big wrecks as well, especially on these restarts as some of the drivers on those older tires, unfortunately getting a lot of tire spin there, causing some mayhem out there on the racetrack, and luckily enough, you're able to dodge all those issues and still come home with a very solid second place performance, man, with, tight battle in there. Down and out of core number 4 between yourself and Simpson, and I do believe it was the 18 of Michael Carter. Unfortunate contact there between you guys, but just good hard racing for a podium run here this evening between you guys, man. Take us through that final, green-white checkered here this evening in the battle there to the line.
Yeah, well, I knew a lot of those guys had stayed out. They had no tires, and a couple of guys had 2. I thought 4 was the best to go. Sorry that I got into people coming to the line. I'm glad that they still had good finishes because of it. I was just trying to stay tight. That one lap, I was going down into one, and Gage kind of clipped the grass and filled the bottom. And after that, it was just game on. Like I was just going to go forward no matter what after that. But still don't want to make contact like that and and wreck anybody. Luckily, it was the last lap, so it didn't hurt them too bad. But I was just really proud of the team. Happy that I could turn something into a second place finish. You know, we started out good. I was having a tough time through the middle of the race, just managing the tires and keeping them together for the long run. So for it to all come together at the end really was a good run. But I had a great time tonight.
That's the main thing right there. Having a good time, enjoying your Thursday night, and having some fun here on iRacing and in the Hypershift Racing League. As it gets a whole lot funner, especially when you get to park yourself up and on the podium here tonight, Dalton. Yeah, park yourself on the podium in position number 2. Brother, who'd you like to thank for another great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, well, this week celebrating Memorial Day. First of all, shout out to everybody that served and a huge thank you. We wouldn't be able to do it without all of them. So that means most. And on top of that, I just want to say thank you to Corey for all the good times that we've been able to run. Hopefully some of the other guys in the league have been able to get to know him. He's going to be going overseas to serve for our country this week. So thank you to him. And it's been great to run with him. I'm going to miss racing without him, but we'll see him when he gets back.
Yeah, absolutely. We will be here. We'll be waiting for him, and I can't wait to see Corey back in action. But, a huge thank you to him for his sacrifice and going, overseas or wherever it may be that he's going to do his service, man. But the huge thank you there to him and to anyone who served here in past, present, and or future, as it is a very noble thing to do. And we can't wait to see Corey, obviously, right back out there on the racetrack and battling with us here on Thursday nights in the future. But Dalton, man, great run for yourself. Great performance for the 77 ride as you park yourself in position number 2 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, brother. Great run, great performance, and we look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack again next Thursday night from Richmond Raceway.
For sure. Thanks. And anybody that's watching, go tell somebody you love them. Peace, love, tiny toes.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Dalton Wicker, as Wicker comes home in position number 2. Really good run, really solid performance there for him as we'll get ready to try to pull in our third place finisher. He was in the waiting room, but he has since disappeared. I was hoping to try to get Jeff Carson in here. I do not see him, though, in there right now, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get him in here or not. So, see if we can. I don't see him in any of the channels, so if can't pull him in from a different channel. He was in there. He was trying to get in here for a post-race interview. We'll give him a minute or two, see if Jeff Carson can jump back in there, see if we can get him his post-race interview here this afternoon. As great run for him, man. Great run, great performance there. Right place at the right time late in this race, obviously, with Jack Simpson and Michael Carter getting turned there, and he was able to squeeze right on by there and come home with a very, very solid top 3 run here this evening. But it's not in the waiting room right now, so unfortunately it doesn't look like we'll be able to get Jeff Carson up here into the booth. But huge shout out to Jeff Carson and the Jeff Carson Setup Shop number 9 ride, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive for him there this afternoon, and great finish, great performance for that 9 machine as well. But unfortunately, that's going to do it for us here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love, enjoying the great racing action here this evening. But that's going to do it for us here in this one. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today. And we'll see you guys back up here in the broadcast booth again tomorrow night for some more amazing racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. So thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night.